Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with another edition of Challenge Accepted. This week, Shannon and I are taking on the scrap lift number 22 from Scrap Squad. It's a great group that puts a new lift up every Friday, and the albums stay open forever, so you can do the lift anytime. No prizes, no contests or anything like that. Just a lot of fun and a lot of inspiration to see how people take the sample layouts and run with them. So I absolutely love this, and to be honest, I've actually done this layout earlier this week in an 11-minute try. I used a pre-printed mixed media page from Vicky Booten and put a pre-made card front for the embellishment cluster here because it had a big star, and the idea was that my granddaughter had a star named after her by one of my son's friends. The load prompt was about friendship, so and we had to have something out of this world on it. So because the mixed media looked like a galaxy, to kind of a swirling galaxy, I used some clear stickers from One Canoe 2 to put constellations and stars, and I had the photo of my granddaughter holding the certificate talking about her star. So it was a truly an 11-minute layout. This one, a little bit more complicated. I'm gonna maybe be a little bit truer to this particular design in that my photo that I have is square like the sample photo, and I'm going to embellish around it with layers and a frame and some tags and so forth, and then my title cluster is going to be down here. So I started out, I'm using everything I use, all the supplies I use here came from the October Mind the Scrap kits. I get the main kit, the paper kit, the embellishment kit, the mixed media kit, and the Bujo kit. And to be honest, I've got them all mixed up because I've been using it all week, and I don't know which kits were which, but you'll see some of the beautiful stuff. So one of the things that came in the kit for I'm going to put this aside but keep it handy so I can pull it back every now and then. One of the things that came in the kit were these two bottles of milk paint. One is kind of it looks like a grayish white. The other is a pink, and it's from Imaginis, and you mix the powder 1 to 2 powder to water, and mix it up with a paintbrush, and then use it how you will. The first time I used it was to do splatters on a layout, and so I used that same paintbrush, and there was so much left over. I pulled a piece of the incredible Mind the Scrap white cardstock and did these streaks across, and when you're doing them, just a note of interest, when you're doing them, it kind of looks, when it's wet, like there's not going to be a lot of different striations in it. But let me see if I can get the light on this so that you can kind of see how beautiful this actually turned out to be. I was planning to do this pink painted background, and I was going to use one of the stencils that came in the mixed media kit to do a background, maybe a little bit of texture paste here and a little bit of texture paste here. But because I love this texture, I want more of it to show. Okay, next thing I did was I took a sheet of the most gorgeous paper I've ever seen. It's a let me see if I can get the line. It's the Unforgettable line from Cocoa Vanilla. And I decided to cut my wreath, instead of having a dark background, like this. Let me get this stupid light that moves every time I even get near it. Instead of having the white wreath on a dark background, I actually cut my wreath out of this floral paper, and I will tell you that this was not a fun experience. I have cut cardstock before, and my blade is sharp enough, I think. I've cut with it recently, but I think Cocoa Vanilla pattern paper has such a high rag content that you may need, when you're cutting it, you may need to cut it twice, or you may need to increase your depth. I'm going to practice with it and come up with the exact setting, but in the meantime, weeding this from the background, from the page I cut it from, was torture. So I'm going to, and it tore here, but that's kind of a user error because I had the page in a little bit more to one side. Okay, I'm going to let this get glued down there. I'm actually gonna just go ahead and use this to anchor it because I know I'm going to cover it up with my photo cluster, and so I don't have to do a whole lot. Now in the example, I want to move this over a little bit. Okay, and that's a little too high. Let me kind of do it that way. In the example, there's a lot of stitching around there. I thought instead of stitching, I'd use some of this wonderful bendable wire. It's a copper color. It's just beautiful. And I've used it on every layout since I got it. I thought I'd use it as an inner circle, and I may just, let me see if I can get my, I'm gonna curve it around. I don't expect it to be, nor do I require it to be, particularly, okay, the exact same circle that is formed by my leaf wreath. But I'm going to curl the ends of it. And I'm expecting to, as you can see, I anchored it here with a staple, and that's going to be covered by my embellishment cluster. Here, I'm going to anchor right over in this area by the, okay, I think I like that. I'm going to work with it now. I'm going to anchor it with the photo cluster. So one of the things I want in the photo cluster is I want to use this frame that came in a few there was an ephemera pack from Cocoa Vanilla and another from, I want to say, Dear Lizzie, and I have used lots of Cocoa Vanilla on this page, but I've pulled a little bit from the Dear Lizzie. Let me also say that I had these. I want to use one of these two flower clusters. And since her outfit is pink, I'm going to choose the one that's pink and not the one that has a lot of orange there. I'm going to put this on like this. This is not a good photograph exactly. It's just very, very cute. I've already put the the twine on this tag. Let me see, I may want it this way instead of up at the top, so I kind of like that. I'm going to back it all with foam to make it stand out. I also kind of like this circle as a background, but I don't need all of it. I can actually cut it in half and put it here. Let me see. I'd like a little of it to kind of stick out there. And the rest of it, I didn't get the tape in the right place, so let me put the tape on the circle, and then when I place it, I can just kind of stick it down. Okay, that looks good. The rest of the embellishing and layering around it I'll do once I get it on the page, and we'll kind of let it take its cues from where those curls are in the circles. I'm using lots of tape on here, and I may end up going back and using a, okay, let me get this here. I'm going to put this, I like this idea. Have it come around. Okay, that's an unexpected that's an unexpected advantage of having that. Okay, I've got a couple tickets that might be cute to cluster right in there. Let me put the one that contrasts with the background closer to it. So I like that. I'll staple them together and put a little glue there. And I've got some butterflies and feathers and other cameras, a heart, some other bits left. The cluster here, I'm kind of just gonna maybe bend that back. The cluster that's going to be down here, I would like anchored by this little heart circle, but what I like is this is a photo of Ava. It's obviously an old one and not a particularly good one, and it's kind of one of those how we remember her as a little girl. And I just love the expression she has on her face and the way her hair is done. We just to get it out of her face, we kind of pulled it up in those little pigtails, and she's in her little pink pajamas and sitting on her pink liner to her high chair, and it just kind of struck me when I came across it in my photo library the other day. I'm using a very thick foam right now to go. I've got this, as we know, Ava's been going through some medical difficulties, to say the least. She's been in chemo fighting leukemia, and she's 11 now, so this picture was from a while back. So one of the things in a Thicker's chipboard collection that came in my Mind the Scrap kit, and I'm not sure what collection this goes with, if any, but it's one of the sayings says, grow through what you go through, and I'll probably use that on a different, more modern, a more current photo of Ava. The colors were wrong for this. This one, though, says, kind heart, fierce mind, brave spirit, and I thought that kind of sums Ava up. I thought I'd put this, I want the, these are two fairly thick foam backs. I want it, one piece of it to go above the wire, the other piece to go below the wire. I don't want it to hit the wire, so I really don't want to turn it that way. So I'm not happy with it at all. I'm actually going to put it a little further down than I'd planned, and I'll let my embellishments kind of curl up this way. Okay, I like this circle that has the hearts and scallops, and I'm going to kind of put that there again as a base on which to build my cluster, and it's going to accidentally cover up that staple that's there. I love these feathers. I'm going to put the teal one down flat, and it's going to kind of curl up the wire. Let me kind of round the wire out. I'm good if the wire kind of curls down like that, and I may go with that in some way. I like, let me get this one on some foam and put it beside this other feather. I'm not doing too well cutting things and getting them out there. I kind of thought that all of the elements that I'm using are so beautiful. I think feathers have something to do with dreaming, so I think that they're appropriate. I thought all these things were so beautiful that I really don't need to overdo stuff. This is a little kind of a tag. I'm going to make it, I'm going to put it in right here, kind of on the mat of the photo. I think that will work. I like the, do I want the camera here, kind of tucked in down by that? See, this is moving around. What, okay, time for some liquid glue, folks. The most magical liquid glue ever, and I'm down at the bottom of this particular bottle, but it's still working like crazy. It's just that you have to shake it down to the tip to get it there. Okay, let me see. I want this under here. I want that maybe at that angle. Okay, let me press down really hard without touching the photo. Okay, so hopefully that will stay. Getting back to the camera, I'm going to put a bit of foam on it. And insert it there, kind of behind the flowers and tucked in by the photo. Let me actually let it overlap the photo a bit. There we go. Okay. I've got a few other things. What I want, this is this little circle says a moment in time, and I kind of like it. It doesn't have to show completely for me to get the benefit I want from it, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I like that. I'll do that. Even though it's hidden behind this little label, you can tell what it says. I've got hearts and arrows. I wanted to use arrows, and in the what I thought was kind of cool about this was inside the wood grain frame, which I've all but hidden here, was this little set of arrows and one of the cameras and a couple of tabs. There's this wording that I'd like to put there. That's okay. Let me put some flowers over on this side. I'm kind of trying to complete this. I've put that up kind of high on some really thick foam. And that means everything else, anything I overlap, is going to also have to be on some thick foam. So I'll do that and that and see if I can. I don't want to cover the leaves. Let me place this on first, right here. And then I'll put that in like that. And then I thought to kind of complete that area, I thought I'd use a butterfly. And I'm going to go with, this is uncharacteristic for me, I'm not a gray and brown kind of person, but I thought this gray butterfly would really stand out nicely on the pink. I'm going to put him on some of that tall foam as well, so that you really get some dimension with him flying. We'll curl those wings and kind of set him there. I don't know if I'm going to use the other butterflies or either of these little tabs. With that, I like tabs coming out of the side. I kind of like this. Let's see, do we want to maybe use this one down here? That fits in nicely and that kind of curls over. I do like that. This love you to bits and pieces may not add anything to it, so I think I'm going to leave it out. I have something that says so beautiful, but the arrow's too long and comes in from the side. It's the wrong way. This one says little moments, not sure I'll use that. Let me go back to the idea of adding in these other two butterflies and maybe just using the one arrow. There we go. Again, I'm not seeing that that adds a lot, and it's too long for me to use it here, and I don't think it really matters there. So let me put these things in the unused items bucket, and I'm going to pull some pop dots to add in these other butterflies. I'll have the pink one kind of here. I want something to help tilt this. Note to self, when using thick foam like this, use big enough pieces that it fully anchors the item and doesn't allow the item to tilt. It's adhered, but there's not enough of the item to anchored for it to keep it from tilting. It'll be fine when I put it in a page protector and it out there. Let's see. Do I maybe want to put it inside there? I kind of like that. And my next question is, do I want to use this? And I think so, if I can offset it one direction or the other from this other. There, I like that. Okay, and that gives me a half I can use again. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call it finished. I have these beautiful little kind of crystal enamel stickers, and I love them, but I think the only thing I'll use them for here is my trademark overlapping hearts that have to be somewhere on the page. And I may do them kind of slightly hanging off and over here on my little tag. Okay, so I'm done. I love this this lift that Scrap Squad put out there. I'm happy to have stayed somewhat truer to it this time than last, and to have spent a little more time. I love, love, love my Mind the Scrap kit for October, and am thrilled with literally every layout I've made with it. So, and I look forward to using the rest. So have fun. Let me cut this down a bit. Just a little small. I don't want, since there are kind of swirly lines with the wire, I really don't want to have any, have these pieces of twine competing with that. Okay, so it's done. Enjoy, accept those challenges, and we'll see you next time.